Oh, there you are, YouTube. So we are going to do a ranking today, not a random ranking like we normally do. This is a very themed ranking. I'm going to rank my top 5 British monarch movies. Basically, King Charles III, his coronation was today. I watched more so the end portion of it. I could not, I live in the United States, so I was not able to wake up in time to watch it from the beginning. That would have been like 3 a.m. But my wife was able to get up and watch it. She watched it. I caught some of the carriage ride and then some of the balcony stuff, or the balcony stuff. I got to see all of that. But it was very cool. So I thought, how about I rank my top 5 British monarch movies? So I guess we should just get into it, right? You know what? I'm going to switch the order up here. I was going to start with 1. Why would I start with 1? Let's start with number 5. Should I do some honorable mentions? Honorable mentions. I'm going to do The Favorite about Queen Anne. That's an honorable mention. Basically, I haven't seen it enough. I've only seen it the one time, so I feel a little weird putting it on this list, but I did really like it, and I can imagine it maybe entering this list someday. But yeah, I don't know. Is that my only honorable mention? That could be. Maybe I'll come up with some others along the way. But number 5 is a Best Picture winner. It is A Man for All Seasons, covering Henry VIII. Have you seen this one? This one's all about him trying to get his marriage annulled, trying to be like basically the head of the Church of England, and this dude right here, he's like supposed to write the Pope to get all this stuff approved or something. And yeah, it's just like, hey, I want this stuff to happen. That's what Quint from Jaws is saying. He's playing Henry VIII. He's like, hey, I need an annulled marriage. I need to be the head of religion. And this guy's like, but yeah, this is good. This has some good shots. Like, there's this moment where Quint's walking out of the water. Is he in the water? I think he's walking off of a boat or something. I believe there's water behind him, and it's sort of like a reveal where we see him, and he's just looking awesome. He looks so cool. He's like, it's Quint from Jaws. So this is number 5. Next we have Queen Victoria. Actually, the movie's called The Young Victoria. It's about Queen Victoria. I like this one because it feels like there's no conflict in it. It's like you're just watching life happen, the life of a royal happen, and it's, she's in love with Albert over here, and I guess, there is some like stressful drama, conflict sort of with him, and like an assassinations type thing attempted happening there. But is that right? Is it an assassin? I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched this. But what I do remember liking most about it was that it just felt like we're watching life happen. And it's sort of a love story in a way. I'd like to see Emily Blunt, forgot her name for a moment. I'd like to see her return as Queen Victoria down the road. I think that would be very cool if she kept this character up. And we had sequels here to this movie. I'd like to see her take on Queen Victoria continue. Next, number 3, we have another Best Picture winner, The King's Speech. This beat The Social Network. A lot of people think The Social Network should have won. And I feel like because The Social Network is so good and highly regarded and loved, that this movie maybe gets initially maybe overhated, but now it's just sort of forgotten, I feel like. I don't think people dislike it. I think it's just sort of a forgotten film, and that's too bad. It feels, people will just say it feels like Oscar bait, and I totally understand that. This was actually the earliest I ever called a Best Picture winner, and I did it by just the very first promotional still they put out for Colin Firth when he was, dressed in his king stuff. And I remember looking at that and saying that's going to win Best Picture. And then I started to feel a little shaky about it because Social Network was popping up, and then I was like, you know what? No, they're not going to vote for a movie about Facebook because I think they're going to feel like Facebook is just a flash in the pan. It's just a fad, you know, similar to MySpace, which it still could be. I mean, I think it's more monumental. It's had a more monumental effect than MySpace, but at the time especially, I was like, the Academy's not going to vote for the Facebook movie, and I was right. So yeah, this is what I pat myself on the back for the earliest I ever called a race. I wish I could remember when that picture was released, because that's when I called it. I was like, that's it, that's winning. But yeah, good movie. Helena Bonham Carter, really like her as playing the Queen at the time. I almost said the Queen Mom, but she's the Queen Mom later, after he passes very young, too young. But good movie. I understand the frustrations. People think this should not have won. Next, I actually don't own my number 2 for some reason. I thought I did, and I guess I don't. So we're gonna have to act a little bit here. We're gonna have to act like this does not say the Golden Age. So we're just gonna act like this is just Elizabeth, the movie, not Elizabeth the Golden Age. So act like this is the first film, because this right here is a sequel. But let's act like this is the first Elizabeth movie, because the first Elizabeth film is my second favorite movie about a British monarch. And this one's cool, but I feel like there's some special effects in there that just kind of like make it look a little artificial, and I'm just like, I don't know, the realism just sort of vanishes. But there are a lot of cool moments in here when she says, "I too can control the winds," and when she's out there in armor on the battlefield. All of that is very cool. Obviously the makeup and everything. But for me, I like the first one where we're watching her on her way to the throne and the fight to get the throne, and you know, sort of the disputedness of whether she should have it or not, you know, that sort of thing. I think all of that was pretty interesting. But you know, this one's good too. But my true second favorite British monarch movie is Elizabeth, the original one. But I would love to see Cate Blanchett continue this character. I'd like to see her continue playing Queen Elizabeth I, because I think, I don't know, I just want to know what she could do with it every so many years. Like, just return to the character, give us a little bit of history on the character and how she's evolving, and then just do it up until her death, you know? Not until Cate Blanchett's death, but Queen Elizabeth I's death, you know? Okay, number 1. Let's get to number 1. Number 1 for me is the Queen. Oh, also, I should say, before we get to the Queen, sorry, I revealed the big one, and then I'm going to go back over here. So, yeah, the first Elizabeth, used to watch that with my mom. That's one of her favorite movies. So I also, not only do I like that movie, but I have a lot of nostalgic ties to it, because I remember renting it. I feel like that was one of the few that we rented multiple times, because we just liked the movie. And yeah, so I really enjoyed watching that one with my mom when I was younger. So now to The Queen. This was nominated the same year that The Departed was nominated. The Departed won Best Picture. This did not win Best Picture, but I always loved this movie, and I was sort of rooting for it to win. Even though I'm not big on biopics winning Best Picture, but I feel like this one sort of changed my life. So Elizabeth maybe sort of got me interested in the royal family, along with, you know, sadly, everything that was going on with that happened, you know, Princess Diana's death, basically. And then Elizabeth the movie. But this one sort of like changed my life, because this is when I like got really invested in, I guess the royal family, specifically the Queen, loving her, thinking that she was great, that she was an amazing leader, a strong leader, and understood her roles and duty, and I thought all of that was fantastic, and the way she sort of navigated the press and her subjects, her people, and how they help steer her in certain directions that she may need to go. I think she, even though she's very separated from her people, she's also able to maybe was able to maybe slowly follow where they wanted her to go. So all that was really cool. And I liked seeing that in this movie. And I think Tony Blair, their back and forth and the way they're sharing their successes and struggles is interesting. So yeah, I really like this movie a lot, and it sort of changed the way I looked at the Queen, and sort of moved entirely on how I felt about her. So I fell in love with the Queen, the movie, and the woman. So that is my ranking of British monarch movies right here. What are your favorites? Are these them? Are these some of your favorites? Or do you prefer Robin Hood? I thought about Robin Hood. Putting a Robin Hood movie on here with Lionheart. Richard Lionheart, but he didn't make it. Who else? There were some others. I mean, maybe the Robin Hood movies are, you could say they are honorable mentions, perhaps. I guess, specifically the Kevin Costner one, but and maybe the Mel Brooks one, the Disney one. Those are the best. Those are the best ones. But yeah, what's your favorite? I'm getting tired. I feel like my eyes are getting heavy. But yeah, this is what I like. These are my favorites. Do you have any? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think of the royal family movies? I guess I like to watch biopics when they're about the royal family. Sometimes, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about biopics. I think I don't like them, but you know what? Sometimes I'm watching them and I really do like them. And this one I think is my absolute favorite one. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. And perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout. Smile, look at me, wave. So cool.